Hello, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. How are you today? I don't remember if I've read for you before. I do so many readings. Sorry, I'd like to explain. I feel, hear, see, sense, know. They talk to me, but they also show me pictures, and I call it spiritual charades. So they never waste a message. There's always a reason for whatever they say or they show. So I try to describe the picture the best I can. And they tell us what we need to know, not always what we want to know. This is not an exact science. We communicate the best way we can. Sometimes you got to think outside the box a little bit. They won't give me all the details because the details are none of my business. So they'll give me just enough that you should be able to understand what they're trying to get across. If it doesn't make sense now, keep it in mind because you'll either remember it later, see it later, or somebody else will validate it for you later and go, oh, I know what he's talking about. So we're going to talk to your brother today. Right now he's just moving around. He said he's keeping his eye on you, and he smiles real big. He says, don't get all creeped out. Don't get spooked. He's keeping an eye on you in a brotherly, in a protective way. It's kind of like he's showing like he just walks through your house, kind of looks around, makes sure everything's okay, and he leaves. It's not like he hangs around there all the time. So maybe that was something he did when he was here, was he kind of, like my dad, when he'd go to his sister's house or something, he'd walk in, he'd open the refrigerator and open the cabinet. It wasn't because he was hungry, it's because he was checking to see if they had enough food in their house. That was his little sly way of doing it, making sure they were okay. So it's that kind of feeling, like he's just walking through and checking things and making sure you're okay and you got this, that, and other thing. I promise you 1,000%, they can hear you, they can see you. Talk to them all you want to. You don't have to talk out loud. We have telepathic ears up here, so you can talk telepathically. He's talking something about the hair on your head. Did you recently? He just said something about the hair on her head. Did you recently change your hairstyle, color, something? You look something a little different. I think he's trying to validate that it's him. Horses. Something about horses. Sometimes they just throw words out. He'll start talking here in a minute. I don't know if you recently rode a horse, petted a horse, saw a horse, or there's a horse on TV as you're watching this. Somehow a horse is going to be a sign from him. Did he have horses? I don't feel like he had horses. Well, that's kind of a broad one because you see horses everywhere. So no, you'll probably see funny cartoon horses. Like my sign from my Bob is black and white cows, and all of a sudden on Facebook, this cartoon of a cow dancing will pop up. It'll be something like that, something a little more, not just every single horse you see. He says something to make you laugh. So when he sends any sign that he mentions that he's trying to send you, he said he's not sending a lot, at least not at this point. But when you do get the sign, make sure you validate him, acknowledge him, tell him you love him, and ask him to bring you more signs. Invite him in if you want him in. That's totally up to you. And ask him to bring you more. Give him permission. I find a lot of them kind of stand back and they go, well, I don't know if I should step forward. I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if they're going to think their house is haunted or if they're going to get scared shitless. So give him permission. So far, he's not real talkative. Let's see hang on. Let me ask him something. Okay, so he asked me to pull a card for you, which they do that sometimes. And these are my release cards, something you need to release. Surrender to the magic of who you are. We all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with a uniqueness and worth that come from just being you. So he wants you to surrender. Let me pull this back. He wants you to surrender to the magic of who you are. Nobody else, not that person out there, not that you're not that person over there, you're not that person over there. He wants you to surrender to how beautiful you are inside. Oh, his heart is, he's shown his heart like getting really, really bright and glowing and getting bigger. He loves this. He loves you. He says, surrender to the magic of who you are because you are beautiful inside. You are not what other people say you are. You are who you are. Show them. It's like he's having trouble getting the words. I'm not sure he's quite figured out how to do this yet. Show them the person that I know. Show them the beautiful person inside that I know, that I always saw. I trusted you. I looked up to you. I knew you were always in my corner, even when you were throwing things at me. Hey, don't all brothers and sisters do that? And he is laughing. He says, but deep down, I knew you were always there for me. We could be miles apart and not talk for a while, and I still knew it. We got busy with our own lives separately. Don't do that. Don't do that with others. Bring them in closer. Find time for them. You can sweep the floor later. Find time for the ones you love. That is more important than running the vacuum or sweeping the floor. That dirt will be there later. He has this deep, 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 reverent love for you, like very in awe of you. Okay, so I usually ask them not to bring up a memory that's when you were so little that you can't remember. So hopefully you were. All brothers do this. It says, remember the time when you were riding your bike down the sidewalk and I pushed you off of it and took it away from you. Don't all brothers do that? You are magical in your own right. You're letting everyday stuff get to you, and that's not what's important. Your job. And now you jump right to your job. When you're made so uncomfortable that you're pushed out of something, that means it's not right for you. That means there's another door. Let's say you get fired. He says, yeah, use that one. Let's say you get fired, but but you find a more awesome job because you got fired. So if you hadn't been pushed out of that job that was not feeling good, you wouldn't have found the job that really fits you or fits right with your path. That means it's time for you to move on. He's holding his hand out. He says, I will be holding your hand along the way. And they've been telling me this a lot lately, so I've been telling a lot of people. When I go walking down by the river, I ask Bob to go with me, and I hold my hand out. I say, hold my hand, and we'll walk together. Bob's in spirit. Hold your hand out. You need to be calm when you do it. You don't have to be walking, and just ask him to hold your hand. And it may take you a few times to get the hang of it, and you'll start feeling a warmth or pressure. Sometimes I can feel Bob actually hold my hand like this. He said, all you have to do is snap your fingers, call my name, and I will be right there. He says you have felt somebody jump, or you may not have been sitting on the bed, but you felt somebody jumping on the bed. You might have been standing there and you thought you heard, somebody jumping on the bed, or you might have gone back in the room and the covers were all kind of ruffled in the middle, like somebody had been jumping on the bed. He's been jumping on your bed. Now he's laughing hysterically. He just said he wouldn't spend any time there. He's just passing through, but he's been there. He's laughing hysterically. He says, remember when we got in trouble when we did that? One of you fell off and hit your head pretty hard. That should be something it must have been hard enough that he thinks you're going to remember it. Don't forget the rest of them. I don't know who the rest of them are. He's not saying. Don't forget the rest of them. He's not elaborating on that. And he's going like this to you. Like, do you talk a mile a minute? Do you talk all the time? He's doing this like into your face. And he's laughing. He's teasing you. Maybe he did this to you when you were younger, or anytime. Something about candles being blown out. Some significance to a candle being blown out. I don't know if you've referenced him leaving as blowing out his candle. You're going to get that smell of what it smells like when you blow out a candle, and you smell that whatever afterwards. And you might be in the store, you might be in your house, you could be in your car, you could be outside, doesn't matter. That certain smell, and it might just be a little whiff that comes by. That's going to be him, one of his signs to you, letting you know that he's around, he's popping in to say, I love you. So validate him, acknowledge him, tell him you love him, and ask him to bring you more. Give him permission. Let him know it's okay. Let him know it's okay. He says you will have more clarity when you go within. I think on the majority of my readings lately, they have been stressing this to everybody. To go within, quit worrying so much about what's going on out there. Start worrying about what's going on in here. Clear the cobwebs, he says. Don't sweat the small stuff. There's tons of small stuff. He says you can't do them all. And then he kicks back like this. Like he's all relaxed. There's, I don't know how many kids you have. I don't look at anybody's Facebook page ahead of time. It messes up what little logical mind I have. I don't like to know anything ahead of time. But he's showing at one of your kids. And I think it's probably the one that's in the picture. And I don't know how old she would be now. That one, don't know that she knows that he's there, but she senses that he's there, if that makes sense. You know how somebody can walk in the room behind you and you don't hear them or see them, but you feel them? You feel that energy and you turn around and go, oh, there's somebody here. I think it's that one. She senses him. I don't see that they actually interact. Now, I don't know how old, you said that was an older picture, so I don't know how old that one is now. The little ones, they see him, they talk to him, they play with him. It's no big deal until they get to be around 9 or 10, and then they go, society's not going to appreciate this, so they're going to say I'm crazy, so they shut it down. Excuse me. It's going knock, 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 knock. You should be hearing 3 taps. Don't know for sure on what or where, because sometimes they show me exactly what they're going to tap on. He's not. So if you hear 3 taps and you're kind of watching TV and you go, what was that? Or you get up and answer the door, nobody's there. Know that it's him. I think he's going to do more now because you've reached out. Where before he was kind of passing through and just checking on you. You are a beautiful person. You don't give yourself enough credit. Did you recently spill, like, I'm going to say a lot of something, whatever it was that dumped over in the kitchen, like maybe a big pot of stuff made a hell of a mess? So if you did, he's saying he was there at that time. Might have even been broken glass. He says, yeah, that's that's something you had to clean up. It couldn't wait till later. He said the rest of it can wait. Put the dustpan down, go outside, breathe. Take a chill pill. Be more laid back like I was. And then he laughs hysterically. I don't know what that means. When I first started to do this reading, my eyes were pulled back. This is my dad. He's in his Navy uniform. His name's Rex. So I don't know for sure why he drew my attention to my dad's picture, whether he was in the service or his name doesn't start with R. So I'm not sure what that's referring to. My dad was a salesman. So there's something about my dad that he was pulling my attention to in relationship to him. Or it could be in relationship to you. I'm not sure. you recently watching an old Western? Old Western, like back in John Wayne days or something. Could have been an old. Okay, he's got with him, maybe it's two dogs. First it looked like a collie, then it looked like a Saint Bernard. They're both kind of similar, you know, with the color of the hair and stuff. But of course, collies are usually skinny and Saint Bernards are usually wide and bigger. So anyway, I don't know if it's both of these dogs or just one that looks similar to both of these dogs that he's acknowledging that he has with him. So I don't know if he had one that looked like that, or you did, or somebody close to you guys did, that he wants them to know that their favorite fur baby is with him and in good hands and safe. He says, I made it. Bet you didn't think I was going this way, did you? Bet you thought I was going the other direction. And he's laughing hysterically. He's starting to loosen up a little bit. He says we always talked about who was going to go which way. And I do have friends up here. Something about an aunt. He's not showing her, so I can't describe her. And I can't tell which side of the family she's on, but an aunt, he's got an aunt with him. He's not even giving me a name or anything. Grandma? Aunt, grandma, a cousin. And a very dear friend, but I feel like it was a dear friend, maybe, I don't know. I was going to say like when they were younger. So he said he has a multitude of people around him that he knows, and it's all about love when you get there. It's totally all about love. There's no more anger, there's no more hate, there's no more resentment. He says, allow me to help, so that energy of him like being a guard for you, a protector for you, use that at work. Ask him, give him permission to help. They cannot override our free will choice. I preach this all the time. Cannot override our free will choice. I make the dumbest mistakes in the world, and my guides are going, Rhonda, why are you doing that? We told you not to do that. But you did it anyway, because I can. Because I'm a dum-dum. Because they know better. I should pay attention to them. Bob will hit me over the head with the pool noodles sometimes. Going, stop it. So, ask him to step forward. Give him permission. He still can't override your free will choice, but he can step forward and help. Protect you in some way. Maybe help push some of that energy back, you know, that's so negative, you know, in that area. He can actually put little thoughts in your head, something pops in your head just out of the blue, and you go, oh, I never thought about that, or I never thought about taking this job over here, or somebody might call you and go, why don't you come over here and apply for a job? Seriously, look into it, but ask him to help you. Ask him to help you with whatever he was good at here, because they understand it on this plane if they were doing it here. You don't ask Uncle Joe to help you with finances if Uncle Joe didn't have a pot to piss in here, because he still doesn't quite get it. And I asked one of my medium friends, I said, well, shouldn't we be all knowing when we get up there? Not exactly. It doesn't exactly work that way. kind of hitting his fist. He says, I want you to know I still love you. I want you to know I'm still your brother. Still your big brother. Even if he was younger, he feels like big brother protector. He's in that protection mode again. Not that you're in any danger. It's not that he feels like he needs to protect you from something bad. Just that's what he always felt like. And he still does. So allow me to help. But that's totally up to you. And invite him into your house if that's what you want. Invite him in. Let him know it's okay. Tell him to hang around. Come hang around, eat some popcorn with you. Something about going to the movies. He mentioned popcorn and now something about going to the movies and throwing popcorn at each other. Or you were just recently throwing popcorn at somebody else at the movie. Okay, with that, he's leaving. And this dog is following him. This aunt, I can just vaguely see her off in the distance. She's not a large woman, but she's not a skinny woman. But I really can't see her features. And that's because it's not important, or he would have had her step forward with him. A lot of times they'll bring others with them and give them an opportunity to say, hey. Just remember I love you. And with that, he's gone. So, thank you, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved one. Thank you for allowing me to be his voice. He's a sweetheart. Later.